above the horizon. But let's go to NGC 205. And when we get there, you are definitely going to know where we are. But we're going to give this object its own spotlight tonight, because it generally is playing second fiddle to the big brother next door. So this is, it doesn't even have a name. It's just a galaxy. Just a galaxy. All right, let's get the telescope up off of the horizon. That has not been fair to to these objects we've been trying to observe. If you're with me live, you NGC 7331. Oh, well, we looked. I don't know. It to me, 7331 was too low to really have. I'd have to go at it earlier, because I don't think we were getting any type of resolution, and I only have a 5-inch, 800 millimeter focal length telescope, so I would have to take a peek at that, and I'd have to know where the supernova is. As soon as this is finished, what I will do is I will open up the image, the stacked image that we have, to see, and I'll let you take a look and see if the reference as to where that supernova should be. If it was in one of the outer arms, I did not see anything that stood out. But I'll pull up the image here, and I'll zoom in, and if you can see something, let me know. Let me let this process complete out. Okay, target is centered. We're rotating. Okay, let me show you the image that we have for 7331. I can't. All I can do is 100%. So, well, okay. Now, when you look at this, there could be some candidates. I don't know where. Oh, hey Tim, I forgot your handle, Aerostar. Yeah, how you guys survived the last 10 days. So I don't know, Tim. It could be there. There are some candidates. I don't know the star positions here, but you can see some. If you can see my cursor, you can see some suspects here in the outer arms, and I would have to know the star field and really dig into that. But that's our image for tonight. But we didn't do it justice. It's just too close to the western horizon. That's why I kind of abandoned the Pegasus place. So we are now up at NGC. If you're following along with me, if you've downloaded the Herschel 400 with me, we are on page 1, Andromeda constellation. We are on NGC 205. This is our 5th object for the night, and we're going to do, I think, about 5 more for the night. So we'll have a total of 10 objects for the night. Very close to the center, 7 arc seconds. Oh, I'm sorry, 7 inches of snow. Yeah, I'm not sure where you are in Georgia. I know my niece visits an area northwest of Atlanta, and she said it was total Armageddon down there. So chaos. I hope you guys are well. I know Carolinas are getting slammed right now. All right, let's see how we're doing. We've got one image, but we will definitely see this object. We are no longer in dim objects. So we are giving this guy his due because he always plays second fiddle to this big guy up here. And but thanks for joining me. Anyone who's online, Toccoa, Northeast. Yeah, we did some bicycle riding down in Helen, Georgia. Of course, over there, the highest peak of Georgia, what was that? That name's escaping me. But some beautiful road cycling in Helen, Georgia. And yeah, we love that area a great deal. And then for us, we've been to Augusta several times, so down the other end of the state from you. We are big golf fans, and we love Augusta. So there's our M110 NGC 205. We're going to give it 10 minutes of stacked 30-second exposures, and then of course we aren't going to pay attention at all to that big guy off his right shoulder. That guy gets all the attention he needs. Let's go to, let's see what Sky Safari says for M110. Does it give it anything special? M110, elliptical galaxy, magnitude 8. So this is our brightest object of the night so far. Yeah, Brasstown Bald. That's it. Yeah, we had a long day of cycling, and we got up to the main road that leads to the spur road that goes up to Brasstown Bald, but we did not finish that climb. So I'm embarrassed to say that. But I believe that climb can be kind of disheartening if you're already tired. M110, NGC 205. Yeah, this is our biggest object as well. 16.2 by 9.6 arc minutes, 2,700 kilolight years distant. So this thing is definitely our closest as well. Let's see anything else of interest here. It's 12.8 kilolight years in diameter. It's again, on our night tonight, this would be a showstopper so far in our Herschel. This is our fifth object, and definitely our brightest and largest. But goodness sakes, he pales in comparison to the M31. What a great deep sky object. So what I will do is, I'll crop it in a way where we get a little bit of M31. Let me enlarge this screen. Sorry about that. Now you've always been able to see some of these dark dust lanes within M110 or NGC 205. Well, Brasstown Bald's 35 miles. Yeah, that's cool. You live in a beautiful area. There was a big lake up there that was, if I'm not mistaken, on the north side. I'm trying to remember all those roads we were riding. There was one, it was, I think, like an Indian name of the road that went over to that lake. And we went up and over that ridge several times. And we were riding on, I can't remember the highway name, but it was a highway that climbed the ridge, had not divided, but it had passing lanes. And I'll never forget those motorcycles driving like out of control. You can only hear them coming up the mountain, and they would pass you, and they were hard to see. That's how fast they were going. So, beautiful area, though. Yeah, I know, Chris. Yeah, that's definitely one of our blessings there with Andromeda. Got a little bit of light fall off. I could do a little bit with flat fielding, and I'm going to work on that. I don't have that data. The way you have to do it is the flat field and bias and darks have to be on the ASI Air in their specific files, and I've already downloaded all of those that I've used, and I delete files off of the Air as soon as I pull them down to my home computer. Yeah, this actually I might not crop. I'll crop it probably. Let's see if we keep getting these. We should be getting these dust spots here. Yeah, I'll crop it. I'll try to crop it where we get some of the Andromeda. I say Andromeda, you know what I mean. M31. But M110. We know that one. Bright, large dust spots. Or dust lanes, I should say. Okay. All right, NGC 205. Let's see, where are we here? We got 2.5 minutes left. Yeah, Chris, there are. Oh, yeah, look at that. Yeah, it's just a part of imaging. Fortunately, smart people have developed techniques that allow us to remove those intruders into our images. But we can't be too critical of them, right? We certainly rely on some of these guys when we're at remote locations like Spruce Knob. There, of course, M42 and places like that, they are even problematic with removing those. There are so many satellites. That get concentrated in the M42 area, and there are a couple of others, especially those geostationary, that those really become challenging to get out of an image. So that'll be our M110. Last image. Or NGC 205. 17 by 10 is what the size is on this. Now our next one's going back down to 4 by 4. And this one's, if I have my notes right, I'll look this one up. This one could be crazy interesting and challenging. So there's our M110. I'll download that image. That'll now be a part of our observation for the Herschel 400. And I hope you enjoyed capturing that. So this NGC 404. Let me show you. Let's see. Let's go to it first. Get the telescope working. Yeah, do you see the name here? Mirach's ghost? Marach's ghost? Lost Pearl Galaxy. Yeah, let's go to that. Shouldn't take long. Go into Sky Safari. I'm really intrigued because I am not sure what we are going to see here, because the star, it is, look at this. I'm not sure if my telescope is going to be able to differentiate this ghost. So this is, I think, I didn't look at every single, I did look at all the Andromeda stuff. So of the objects we have remaining tonight, we are going to, I think this is going to be the most challenging. And I can only imagine visually that this would be really challenging too. So we are there. Let's start gathering our data and let's see what happens. While we're gathering data, let's go back. So it's an elliptical galaxy in Andromeda. Yeah, it says it's 4 by 4. Let me see, is that what? Well, 3.4 by 3.4. So this has been really right in line with the other galaxies we've been observing tonight through Pisces, and even some in Pegasus. So it sure doesn't look that large. But let's see what. Now, I wouldn't rule out changing to another. I'm only on luminance, so a UV IR blocking filter is in place. This might benefit from some filtration, like an RGB filter. The star they're showing here looks red-orange. I don't know if maybe a blue-green filter might help attenuate the brightness of the star. Let's see what we're getting. This is, of course, in Andromeda, an elliptical galaxy. Let's see how far this thing is away. 9.7 million light years. So we really have picked up our distance away from the Andromeda section, M31 and M110. And it's 9.7 kilolight years in diameter. Pretty small if I'm remembering our other galaxies. Well, there it is. Okay. That's not terrible. It's a lot better than I thought it would be. Again, I'll go back out to our full view. But here's the, I apologize. I'm not sure I'm saying the name of the star properly. Marat? We're only stacking 3 images, but there it is. That might be one of the cooler galactic images we're pulling down tonight. And it's a pretty bright core. I'm going to make some notes here if you're following along. It's a bright core. It's a really beautiful contrast with the star. You can definitely tell it's non-stellar. Okay, we are on object number 6 of the night for our Herschel 400 pursuit. If you're joining us, I encourage you to check out the description of this video to download the documents from the Astronomical League that you'll need to get familiar with and know how to submit your award. submit your observations to achieve your astronomical Herschel 400 award. I don't know how long this is going to take in total, but tonight we're going to get, I think, about 10 objects. And what I'm doing is gathering 10 minutes of exposure of 30-second sub-exposures of each object. And those are the images I'm going to use to submit to the Astronomical League to prove our observations. And if you're joining me, I will provide a web page with password for you to access the images to include in your submissions to the Astronomical League. We are almost halfway finished, and this looks good. Yeah, I like this galaxy and star combination. A few other field galaxies. Looks like an edge-on galaxy here. Yeah, this might be that galaxy we were seeing. PGC 2069196. There are a few field galaxies over there. Let me go off. Okay, well, we should be able to see those. Let me go off of the star. Yeah, those are in our field. There's a big one up there. Opposite UGC 748. Let's see if we can see these field galaxies. So some of them are supposed to be down here. Yeah, these are those UGC clusters here. Yeah, they're tough. This is one right here. That's one there. But the others are really small. It's the opposite, in the opposite direction. It's that brighter galaxy. I don't know if this is him right here. It's an edge on. I think that's him. Go back to, yeah, let me zoom in to UGC 7048. Yeah, they're showing it kind of elongated, but I think that's the one we can see there. Yeah. May not be perfectly edge on, but it's pretty close. Two more minutes of data, and this is, what is that? Yeah, I can't tell if it's a star or something going on there with that. NGC 404 Marok's Ghost. What was the other name? This has actually another name for it. Lost Pearl Galaxy. That's a pretty good description. The Lost Pearl. Oops. Can you hear me? Testing 1, 2. If you lost audio, let me check it on my end. No, I still have it here. Thank you all so much for confirming that. You're never quite sure. Okay, so that is Lost Pearl Galaxy, NGC 404. That was cool. That's a highlight of the night. So there's 6 objects down for the night. Like I said, I will crop to this view, so it'll be nice and good for the submission for the Herschel 400. Next on our list is NGC 752. We're going to change object types. We have not done this type of an object tonight. So, and I'm not sure I've ever looked at NGC 752. This is an open cluster, not far away at all. And we're moving, I believe, up off the horizon a little bit. NGC 752, this will be our, what is this, our 6th object tonight? I invite you to check out the description of this live stream, and I will always include it. Now let's start our image capture to pursue your submission for the Herschel 400 Astronomical League Award. I have some links and some information that you'll need to complete that. So 752, open cluster in Andromeda. If I remember, this one could, there are some galaxies in there. But as far as an open cluster goes, it looks like it could be kind of boring. It's not M35. So let's see what we're getting here. The nice thing is open clusters, they do pop up pretty nicely with just a few exposures. Let's go for some of the information. NGC 752, an open cluster, magnitude 5. That might be our brightest. Can't remember what. Let's see, M10, NGC 205. That was magnitude 10. Okay. Yeah, we're on our brightest magnitude here for the night, actually, I believe. Pretty close, 1,500 light years. I believe this is also the closest object to us. And it is 75 arc minutes, by far the largest object we view tonight. So this is a big object, it's a close object, and it's a bright object. Of course, it's hard to talk about brightness. So there it is, probably better with a wider field of view. But what's interesting is there is a pretty good field of galaxies. We'll have to there we go. There's some are starting to pop in. We're only 3. There's one right there. So we have some good field galaxies in this. There's another one there, non-stellar. There's one there. So we have some good galaxies. So yeah, it's good. NGC 752 open cluster. And I'm going to tease you with, we have a kind of a showstopper coming up next. But yeah, that's good. I'll zoom in on it. I can only, in my ASI Air, I can only be at full zoom out and 1-to-1 zoom in. So I can't give you a middle ground, which would be probably a little bit nicer here, is to do probably like a 3/4 zoom here. So, but yeah, this looks good. Of course, we're kind of wanting to emphasize these field galaxies. They're all over the place here. You just scroll around, you're starting to see some pop out, but there's a nice edge-on galaxy there. Galaxy. Ooh, here's I think that's a galaxy, not just an image artifact. Nice head. Look at these. Got three kind of. Oh, there's an edge on. This one might be a little bit on an angle, and this is almost like a needle galaxy. There we go. That's a little cleaner picture for you. Yeah, that's cool. You know, it's not bad. That's better than I thought it would be. NGC 752 open cluster. Let's see where we are on our image acquisition. About halfway through to our 10 minutes of exposure. And if you're just joining us, I have in the description section links to the Astronomical League with notes that you're going to need to download and get some insight on how to do these observations. And this is, I believe we're on object 6 for the night. We are in the Andromeda constellation. Let me show you a little bit better wide field of view where we are. Here we are at Starfront Observatories. This is my peer camera. You can see why I do this observation. I don't image when the moon is out. It's just problematic to me in all filters. So I don't try hydrogen alpha. I mean, well, hydrogen alpha can't block the sun. That sky right there is as bright as any twilight. I don't photograph in twilight. So yeah, I don't image with the moon up. And we're kind of spoiled. We have a lot of nights. Look at that clear sky report. We kind of lose it on Monday night. We get it back Tuesday. But yeah, I'll probably be observing. I'll probably be doing this Herschel stuff. I might even do some tomorrow night. Oops. Didn't mean to click that. We'll get back to the all sky camera down there at the observatory. We've definitely had, I assume these are, I don't see them in my image. And I will say their all sky camera it was exposed to the elements. It's always exposed to the elements. So it may have some residue on the lens from the storm. I don't know if those are clouds or residue, because I don't see the clouds in my camera. There's the field of view. Let me zoom out, show you kind of where we are in the sky. We prioritize these constellations who are setting in the west and Andromeda is definitely one of those. It's still in a good position to do some observing. Pegasus was a little bit of a hard push tonight. So there's where we are, in the sky, on our way, setting in the west. And that would be a great binocular object right there in GC 752. I'm not sure how many of these Herschels would be binocular objects. Not many. They're so small. 4 by 4, 3.5 by 3.5. These are pretty small. Pretty small fields to cover, objects to cover in a binocular field. Let's go back to our object. Where are we here? 2 minutes left. Let's zoom in. Let's see if we got some more galaxies popping in. If you're just joining us, I will work on, there's a cool galaxy right there. See some of the spiral arms? Ooh, there's a good one. We'll go back to Sky Safari and see if we can get some of these designations. I do like this area. I think, yeah, right here. Definitely a galaxy. Remember, I wasn't sure if it was an artifact or not. That is, look at, there are 4 galaxies right there. Definitely an edge on right here. I like this one. It's very needle-like. Well, this one's really starting to pop up here too. Let me go to Sky Safari and see if we can get some of these identified. Yeah, here, I believe, yeah, here's that guy. That's got to be him right there. That's a UGC 1405. Far away he is. He is 240 million light years away. How crazy is that? That's pretty cool. Is that the furthest object we're seeing in the field? That may be the furthest object there's 270 million light years. Let's see if we can see that guy. We know where he is. UGC 1405. So let's go back. That's UGC 1405 right there. I don't know if that's awful bright for that other PGC that was like 270 million light years away. So that exposure is complete. I think that's it. See, the reason I'm saying that's that UGC is it has more elongation, I think, than this one up here. I could be wrong. One of these is 240 million light years away. So I will save this, probably crop it a little bit, but there is our NGC 752. Now we're going to go to NGC 891. I'm sorry, I should be opening this up like that for you guys, just to give you a little bit more resolution. So this is where are my edge-ons? I've lost them. Here we go. Yeah, there he is. Okay. Yeah, I think that was that UGC 240 million light years away. No correlation to this cluster at all. We've saved the cluster. We're now ready to go to NGC 891. Silver Sliver Galaxy. Right next door. Again, if you're just joining, we are doing the Herschel 400 program. I invite you to join us. It's an Astronomical League observing program. And what I'm doing is capturing live 10 minutes of total exposure time of 30-second sub-exposures, so we can see the image build throughout the night. And we're just exploring these objects, spending a little bit of time getting to know them if we don't, or revisit them if we do. And we are going to check out 891. Spiral galaxy in Andromeda. Yeah, this one looks good. And a ton of galaxies in that field. There's the camera field of view. NGC 891 is magnitude 7.5. Whoops, no. Hold on, sorry. Wrong there. Magnitude 9.8. So we're going dimmer here. But I think this is going to look a lot brighter than 9, considering our others were around 10. This is 9.8. Apparent size 13 by 3. And it's 32 million light years away in the constellation Andromeda. And we're already picking up some of the data. Here's a 2-image stack. And let's watch this guy as he starts to build out. Yeah, he's going to really benefit from stacking of images. I probably should do an image refocus, because I think I'm losing my focus here a little bit as the temperatures are cooling. So if you'll permit me, what I will do is, after this, I'm going to do a refocus. Tell you what, if you don't mind, I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to stay right where you are. I'm going to do a refocus because I don't want to mess this one up. I want this one to look really good, and it won't take a minute or two here. Sorry, please allow me a moment here. What I'll do is I will, let's go, just for those who might have joined after the start, we'll kind of recap what we're doing here. We are doing a pursuit of the Herschel observing list at the Astronomical League. I'm going to work backwards here just a little bit. This is the document that I'm working from tonight, the Herschel 400 program. If you can still see me down in the bottom, that's my list. I'm just making some notes on our observations as we go. There are 400 items. We're going by constellation. And actually, we're working right off of this list tonight. And here's Andromeda. You can get all of this at the Astronomical League. I have links, and they go over what you need to do to submit to win your award, your observing award. And if you're a part of an astronomy club, you're probably a member of the Astronomical League. I also will have a web page dedicated to our project here, and it will be password protected with the images that you'll need to submit to earn the award. But also I have Starfront Observatories link on my website. This is what my photography website looks like. And on that, there is a Starfront Observatories page with images that I've taken since September. Mid-September, I started kind of gathering data. If you ever wanted to know more details about the image, you can go to my AstroBim page, and there it has image acquisition, plate solving, things like that. So that's Jeff Ball Photography. Let's get back. We are focused. Let's start our image acquisition. Oops, not that. Sorry. Let me go back to live. And let's start. Okay. Thank you for letting me take a minute there to dial in the focus. Actually, when I do astrophotography, I do a refocus every hour just to compensate for changes in temperature, changes in position of the sky, just to make sure we're keeping everything nice and tight on the focus. So again, here's where we are in the sky. NGC 891. This is object number 7 for the night for us. We have 2 more we're going to go for. We have a planetary nebula and an open cluster. We're going to finish the night off. I tell you what, we will finish the night with the planetary nebula. Here's where we are in the sky. We're in Andromeda constellation. And after tonight, we will have covered Pisces and Andromeda completely for the Herschel. And then we will have about half of the Pegasus. So we need to revisit. I was doing some quick calculations on, I need to visit some of the summer stuff. I'm not sure which constellation has the most Herschel objects. That we will have some constellations that we're not going to be able to complete within one night, obviously. So let me go back. Let's see how we're doing here. So we are stacking 2 images. Okay, I think we look a little better, a little tighter on our focus. And Tim, I saw you have to refocus your FLT 132. Yeah, every 7 to 10 Celsius temp change. Yeah, that's I kind of. Roland Kristen has done the temperature monitored focus change. I do not have a temperature a thermometer on my electronic focuser. I probably should add it. It's no big deal. But he basically just said it ends up being about every hour he changes focus. And I'll be honest, the data has looked so good from Starfront that I don't have any qualms with it right now. So it just is so clean. So we are stacking. We're 2.5 minutes in, and you can see how beautiful this object is. So this is definitely to me a showstopper. This is our object, probably our object of the night. I've got that planetary, might be pretty cool too. So we're going to make that our last object of the night. So this is 5 stacked images. So far, we're about 3 minutes in. We'll see what 10 minutes looks like, but this is a beauty. Nice edge on. That dust lane right in the middle just contrasts this thing right up. So edge on. Going to make some notes. Edge on. Contrasty dust lane. That's what I encourage you to do if you're doing this with me. Just make some notes on your lists, and include that with your submission to the Astronomical League. So it looks like you were observing. You spent some time with these objects. It wasn't just you just didn't download somebody's images and say that you participated. So I just encourage you to make it an engaging process for you and a process to enjoy and learn. Let me go ahead and expand out this window so we really start to take in this object. There probably are some field galaxies here. Something very diffuse right here. Here's a little bit of a cluster. Looks like an elliptical galaxy here. Probably 2 ellipticals. Not 100% sure of that, but that's what that looks like. Some more galaxies here. Here's some bright ones. There's a pretty good cluster of galaxies right there. That looks like an elliptical galaxy. Maybe some spirals here. Ooh. You know, we not only have one nice edge on, here's another nice edge on. Look at that little fella. Nice one right there off of that star. Let's go back to Sky Safari and see if there are other NGCs in this field. I don't know if we have other NGC objects in this field. Yeah, we got several up here. Remember that brighter cluster we saw? Yeah, where's that other bright? What's this one here? UGC 1841. That looks like a large galaxy for a UGC. And that's it right there. NGC 898. That is that other elongated galaxy that we see right there. Right up here at the top. Right there at the top. NGC 898. And NGC 891. That is a Herschel object. 898 is not. Don't know how visible that 898 would be in a telescope. It might be. Some of these big Dobbs, I'm sure, can pull that in. There's 891. Beauty. We have 3 minutes left. Let's go ahead and let that finish out. But that will be the image you're able to submit. There's our field, full of dust spots. I'll clean those up. I'll figure out how to do a flat frame subtraction and dark field subtraction. So I've got some pretty bright stuff down here. Yeah, there's that little cluster of galaxies. All kinds. Yeah, I love that guy right there. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? Incredible creation. Incredible. And it's hard to imagine that this is a magnitude 9. I guess the surface brightness, when you look at it, it's just that dust lane adds so much contrast, and then the object size with the length is what really, I guess, gives it the impression that it's a brighter object than it is. Two more objects. We got an open cluster and a planetary nebula, and then we will have completed Andromeda and Pisces Herschel objects for the night. So while we're waiting on the last images to build, I'm going to show you. So it's how old I am. I'm going to start to utilize my Burnham's Celestial Handbook. How many of you know about these, let alone have them? Burnham's Celestial Handbook. So these are great for observers, and probably for tonight. I should have done some analysis here. Oops, there are 3 of them. Missing that third. There you are. All right, I got him. Hey, our image is complete. There's 891. That's a beauty. What a great submission. Yeah, that's definitely a highlight. Let's download that. I was just curious what Burnham's had to say about 891. There it is. Prime example of an edge-on spiral galaxy. A 60. I'm not going to show you this. This is a 60-inch telescope photograph from Mount Wilson and Palomar observatories. One of the most striking examples of a spiral galaxy seen exactly edge-on, equaling in interest the more famous NGC 4565 in Como Berenices. What year was Burnham's? Burnham's was, he was at Lowell Observatory. I mean, this is still golden, man. I'm going to use this throughout our process. What year was this published? This one, mine version, was probably published in 78. Is that right? 78. Yeah. 3 volumes. Sorted by constellation. And I'm going to pull these in for references. You see Lacquerhead. Lacquerhead, I need a copy of Burnham. I'm starting my collection of historical astro-related publications. Yeah, that would be. Do they publish it anymore? That's a definite go-to. I got a pretty good book collection. A lot of cool photography stuff. I'll share with over the broadcasts, because I don't buy a lot of books today, but I love the old books I have, and I use them quite a bit. Actually, I've got a couple of new books I'll show too. So there's just so much online, but I still have a soft spot for books. Let's go to NGC 7686. I'm saving, I think, one of the better ones for last. Ooh, this guy's getting pretty low on the horizon. All right, let's get there before we get too late. Thanks for anybody who's still with me. We are at 10:30 local. Said tonight might go a little long. We're right at the 2-hour mark, and but I said, it's Saturday night. What else is there to do, right? I'll speed up the process. I still like 10 minutes of total exposure and 30-second subs. I think that gives us a pretty clean image. I might be able to shorten that if I do flat fields and darks. I'll play around with that. Maybe get it down to a 5-minute exposure, and we can do more objects in a night. I might play around with that. So thanks for being patient with me. Still a little bit of a learning process. So let me begin the image acquisition on this object. And let's go into Sky Safari and check it out. We are on NGC 7686. I think this is object number 9 for us for the night. Yeah, we're getting... Oh, yeah, this guy. We may not give him the full 10 minutes. Sorry about that, NGC 7686. But, wow, you do not look worthy of 10 minutes of exposure. So, it's an open cluster in Andromeda, visual magnitude of 5.59. So it is a brighter object, of course. It's 5 light years away, so it's not very far away. And let's see here. What about its size? Its diameter is 23 light years. Yeah, there it is. Yeah. Okay. It's okay. This is the worst object of the night, right? Have some mid-century star charts, but would like to own my own some first edition publications of more 18th century stuff. Yeah. Let me see. What was the? I got it. We'll let this go, but I'm only going to let it go a few minutes. We don't need more time on this. NGC 7686, you're the worst of the night. I hate to say that, and I like to love on all my astro objects. So I was doing a project and I got distracted, but I got this photographic atlas of selected regions of the Milky Way. You've always heard of Barnard objects. This is the Barnard book, Edward Emerson Barnard. I'm sure there are others, but this is one of the key Barnard books. And this one's not easy to find, but I mean, you got to go looking for it. This edition was published in 2011. But it gives the Barnard plates and references. I love this book. This is a great book. So, and one day, now that I'm in an observatory, the problem is some of the Barnards are pretty big and bigger than my field of view. So I'm not sure I have right now the field of view that's really best for going after the Barnards. So we're going to stop this one. We are going to check off NGC 7686, and we are going to say, not impressed. Sorry, you got to be honest. And we're going to our better object of the night. Let me stop this. I think I can stop it. And so we got 6 stacked. We're going to download that image. And we got 4 minutes in on it. That's all we need. It's like Messier Marathon. You know, what are some of those Messiers that just, you're like, really? You thought that was a comet? So it's kind of crazy. So let's go to our final object of the night. I think this will be a really good one. NGC 7662. blue snowball. Oh, he's right next door. So, even though we're low on the horizon, lower than I'd want, I think this one's still bright enough to be able to give us a good look. Let's go to our Sky Safari and 7662. Blue snowball. I wish I had a color camera. I apologize, guys. But we'll be able to pick it up, I think, pretty nicely. Blue snowball. Got some PGC galaxies. Blue snowball. All right, let's start our image acquisition. And let's go to our object. Blue snowball, planetary nebula in Andromeda, magnitude 8.3. It is 3 kilolight years away, so it's pretty close. We've gone from 270 million light years to 3.6 kilolight years, 3,000 light years away. So it's pretty close. And this is pretty small. It's only 0.6 light years in diameter. Then on the sky, it's 0.5 by 0.5. So this is by far our smallest object of the night. And we'll see how our telescope setup does with this. Okay, there he is. It's hard to tell from stellar. I think with, it's obvious non-stellar. Let's see what some additional acquisition time does to help really make this non-stellar. Let's see what Burnham says. NGC 7662. All right, there it is. A bright, slightly elliptical planetary nebula measuring 32 seconds by 28 seconds. Bluish green and small telescopes. Okay, I think you can start to really see that elongation coming from the upper left quadrant down to the lower right quadrant. Half degree southwest of the 5th magnitude star 13 Andromeda. 6-inch glass and a magnification of at least 50x. It begins to show a softly glowing disk. Probably one of those objects in this case that is better in a telescope. And definitely would benefit from a color camera. Sorry about that, guys. Probably should do a blue filter here. It might help do some, I might capture a couple of blue filtered frames. I don't know. No, the M objects were to remind him that they were not comets when he came upon them again. Yeah, I know. Some of those clusters he's got designated as objects worthy of being noted in his books. I can't imagine he thought they were comets, but maybe there were locally limiting skies. Yeah, we need some color on this one. They don't really give, Burnham does not give well, it gives 1800 light years. What did we say? Sky Safari was, visually once from Alexandria with your C8. Sky meter was 17.5, so it was barely visible even with averted vision, but that I saw it was a victory. Yeah, so in your C8, the sky's just really limited, right? I know if I had a color camera, this baby would be popping. The central star is a bluish dwarf with a continuous spectrum and a computed temperature of about 75,000 Kelvin. The nuclei of the planetary nebula are among the hottest stars known. That's from Burnham's. Just kind of reviewing Burnham's here. It's interesting. I'll show you these drawings and picture. The top is a picture from a 42-inch reflector at Lowell Observatory, and I know we had the fire at Lowell. I haven't seen an update in a couple of weeks. I really hope they make a big commitment to get that back up and running and refurbished and restored. And then there's a drawing by Barnard with a Yerkes 40-inch refractor. So I'll show you those two. The top is the photo. The bottom is the hand drawing by Barnard. I think if I used the blue filter, I could probably get some of that luminosity difference across the I can see a little bit, but I think with just pure luminance, what I think I'm going to do, I don't think we're going to get any more information with more exposure. So if you hang with me a second, I am going to stop that. I'm going to save it. I'm going to change over to the blue filter real fast. Let me do a fast refocus. And, sorry, you're still looking at me. Sorry, I thought I'd changed that out. But we are refocusing, and I'll show you what the image looks like. But it was really overexposed for 30-second sub-exposures, because I really want to get some of that subtle light gradient that I know you can even see in an object that small. Let me try this blue filter. Lacquerhead. I mostly limit myself to double stars and clusters. When I'm feeling bold, I hunt for deep sky objects, but only because I'm delighted I saw them at all. That is astronomy. When I used to do a lot of visual, it was oftentimes just a reward to, and you have a certain. This was way before go-tos. I don't know how long you've been doing this, but if you were doing it before go-tos, then absolutely applaud. And there was not a high degree of confidence that we were seeing what we were hoping we were seeing and we thought we saw. But in today's world, you're just one plate solve away from being 99% confident that you have the object in the field of view. To me, Lackerhead, it was, when I was starting in astronomy, Lackerhead asked about what got me into it. I came into it right at Comet Hale-Bopp, which I think was 97. And of course, astronomy, and I was always a Sky and Telescope magazine. I don't even subscribe to a magazine now. All of the good stuff's online and real time, and so I don't get much out of the magazines. So apologize to those who are so committed to them. All right, so let's start our live. Let me go back. Sorry, let me take you guys back where I am here on the screen. Let's start doing our live gathering. Let's see what we get just with a blue filter on the blue snowball. So it was Comet Hale-Bopp, 97. I just was, it was so energetic in astronomy, and it was just such an amazing comet. This was everybody could see this comet. It was present for months, and it changed in its presentation, its ion tail and its dust tail and its angle in the sky. And Hale-Bopp was big. Also, I was not too far from Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. That was also a major event that pushed me into astronomy. And just the thought of a solar system object crashing into another was, and we were able to mostly witness it, at least witness the effects of it. And I'm not sure this is going to work on the blue snowball. Maybe. You know what? Hold on. Let me try something. Let me go with a shorter sub-exposure. So it was kind of those combinations of things. Let me go with just like a 10-second exposure. I think I'm just overexposing that. So it's, Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 and Hale-Bopp. One of the coolest things that happened to me was it was the Venus transit of the sun. I set up at Myrtle Beach. I had a vision. I wanted to capture an unfiltered sun rising on the ocean. I don't know if I have that. Let me go to my... So back to the comet, to tie it in to Comet Shoemaker-Levy 9. That was, I think, 2004. And let's see if I have that. I'm not even sure what I put it under. I think it's under eclipses, maybe? Let's see. Oh, I don't even have it on the website. That is really short-sighted of me. That's one of my favorite images. I need to really, I don't know where else I'd have it. It's not under color. These are all nebulas and galaxies, I think. Yeah, there's nothing in the landscape. So I don't know where I've put that image, but it was the sun rising on the beach in Myrtle Beach with Venus, clear, and Eugene Levy, who was, I don't know if we're going to get there. I can kind of see a little bit. I'm getting to where we're on the horizon. We have a 5-inch refractor. I can start to see some. I think this is a better capture. It's definitely not stellar. You can tell it's planetary nebula. But to wrap up that, Eugene Levy picked my image to represent his article in Sky and Telescope for the Venus transit of the sun in, I think, again, 2004. Some of the years are getting away from me. So that was kind of cool. But I don't even seek out publications anymore. This is my idea of publication, is I can control my images, control my content. I can do what I want, what I find interesting. So I hope sounds like you're finding yours. You're new to the game, but like doing things the hard way. I manually star hop and alt-as mount. Love it. Absolutely. It used to be people would ask me, say, hey, I want to get into astronomy. What telescope should I buy? And my first advice, most people don't like, is to go out with your binoculars and a star chart and find 5 astronomical objects in the night and stay out in the cold for a few hours. And if you pass that, then we can have a conversation about lugging a big heavy telescope outside for observing. It's not an easy hobby. And so that was my advice. Of course, now we're in the year 2026, and look at what we're doing here tonight and what others are doing with sea stars, and it's a totally different ballgame. And I hope people are still able to find that connectivity with the universe in a way that visual in the field observing does. And I'm glad you're doing that. But I don't have a problem. I've crossed the bridge. There's the debate on remote imaging and remote photography, and is it better? Everything I've done at Starfront, I would never be able to do from my yard. These are objects I can't even image because of a hill. I would have to travel, and I've been at this for 25 years. The odds of syncing up good weather to a dark sky location and everything working out properly, those odds are they get slimmer and slimmer. Yeah, the sea star, when we talk about, again, going back to this Herschel 400, so you get a sea star and you go through and you see, 100 objects in a night. Then what do you do the next night? I don't know. I'm glad it opens up. I don't expect everybody to have to go out and have a torturous night of astronomical observing to enjoy the hobby, all in air quotes, But I'm not sure we're getting a whole lot better here. I think those earlier images were fine, but I'm gonna go ahead and stop this here. But that's the blue snowball. I'll download that. That was blue filter, and that will be our night. I'll go back. Let me show you what we did tonight. We did 10 objects on the Herschel list. If you're just joining us, I invite you to check out the description on the YouTube video, so you can catch up where we are on the Herschel Observing Challenge. This was night number 1. We are 10 images down, only 390 more images to go. So we have, in my opinion, probably the highlight was NGC 891, right? That was one of our great ones of the night. There's NGC 891. And what was another highlight? I think I kind of liked that. Was it, wasn't, what? 404. 404. I like this one. This was that Lost Pearl Galaxy right there next to the star Mirax. I'm not going to say that right. I'm not sure if I ever heard anybody say it. I thought that was cool. I thought those were some of our betters. And then I really liked the NGC 524, right? Because that had those galaxies in the field. I thought that was a pretty cool galaxy field. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I thought that was our best galaxy field of the night right there. The galaxy itself wasn't incredibly remarkable. A cool face on, but a cool field. So if you want, send me an email just saying, hey, Jeff, I want to have access. I'll build a little email database, and we will build up the images that you'll need to submit for the Herschel 400. Let me go back to me. Sorry about that. And we'll have that database. There'll be a linked page on my website. Thank all of you who've stayed the whole night. Lacquerhead 133, thank you. This was fun to watch. Thank you. Thank you. It's pronounced like Myrac. Okay, excellent. Thank you. I love that. Myrac. I'm a photographer. So thanks so much for joining me this evening. I might hop on here and knock off. I tell you what I might do tomorrow is knock off these Pegasus objects earlier in the evening because we're starting to lose them. And I encourage you to download the 400 list, make your notes, get ready for submission. But that's it. We knocked off 10 tonight, and we'll work. I might work on this tomorrow night. So join me if you got a chance. Probably about the same time, 8:30, 9 o'clock. So thanks, guys. I'm going to sign off. Thanks for all the help. It was great interacting with you, and I hope you pursue this 400 with me. So have a good night. Talk to you. See you next time under a clear sky.